All right, today we are diving into Canada, a country so incredibly vast, it honestly feels like you're visiting several different nations all in one trip. We're going to journey from the raw, wild power of its nature to the totally unique heartbeat of its cities and really get into the contrasts that make this place so unforgettable.
But you know what? Before we get into all that, let's kick things off with a little quiz. So, what do you think is the official national animal of Canada? I bet a few things come to mind, maybe the moose, a goose. Just lock in your answer and we'll see if you got it right a little later on.
Look, being the world's second largest country means Canada offers a variety of landscapes that's almost hard to wrap your head around. But for all its huge, epic scale, the thing that so often leaves the biggest impression on people is something a bit more personal, the genuine warmth and friendliness of the people. So our first stop has to be the great outdoors, which is really the heart and soul of Canada's identity. I'm talking about landscapes that you don't just see, you actually feel them, from the massive peaks of the Rockies to the thunderous roar of its waterfalls. This is where the adventure really kicks in. Okay, so you're gonna hear this phrase a few times, UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's a really big deal. The easiest way to think about it is like a global must-see list. These are places so important either culturally or naturally that they're considered treasures for all of humanity. And, as you're about to see, Canada has its fair share.
So here we have two absolute giants of the Canadian Rockies, and they each offer a totally different feel. Banff, well, that's the one you see on the postcards, right? It's famous for those mind-blowing turquoise lakes and trails that are pretty easy to get to. But if you're craving something a little wilder, a little more untamed, then Jasper is your place. It's even a designated dark sky preserve, which means the stars themselves are the main attraction. It's just raw wilderness. And just to give you a sense of scale, this number, that is the amount of water that roars over Niagara's Horseshoe Falls every single minute. It is enough to fill more than 65 Olympic-sized swimming pools. You don't just see that kind of power, you can actually feel it in your chest. And of course, Canada's natural wonders go way beyond the Rockies. You've got Yoho, which is perfectly named. It comes from a Cree expression that just means awe. Then there's the wild, almost sci-fi landscape of Abraham Lake, with these frozen methane bubbles trapped under the ice in winter. From the classic Canadian wilderness of Algonquin to the soaring Shannon Falls, every spot offers a totally different kind of spectacle.
All right, so let's leave the quiet of the wilderness for a bit and dive headfirst into the buzzing energy of Canada's cities. And these urban centers are just as diverse as the landscapes we just saw, each one with its own cultural pulse that really defines the nation's character.
This quote, it just absolutely nails the feeling of Quebec City. It's the only fortified city north of Mexico. And seriously, when you're walking those cobblestone streets, it really does feel like you've just stepped onto another continent. The French language, the architecture, the cafes, it's a completely immersive European experience.
And then you have Vancouver, which is just a world away, not just in geography, but in its whole vibe. It's this incredible city squeezed between the mountains and the ocean, a place where you can literally go skiing in the morning and then hang out on a beach in the afternoon. Its energy is just incredible, fueled by its ethnic diversity and this deep love for the outdoors, which is perfectly summed up by the massive Stanley Park right at the edge of downtown. Now let's look at Canada's two biggest cities, and they each have a completely different soul. Montreal is a city of passion. It's so rooted in its French-Canadian history, and it's celebrated for its world-class food and art scene. Toronto, on the other hand, is this dynamic global metropolis. It's the country's financial engine, defined by that iconic skyline and the multicultural energy you feel in all its different neighborhoods.
And of course, we can't talk about Canadian cities without mentioning the capital, Ottawa. It's the political center, home to that stunning Gothic architecture of Parliament Hill. But one of the coolest things is that in the winter, the Rideau Canal freezes solid and becomes the largest skating rink in the entire world. How cool is that? Okay, for our final leg of the journey, let's head to the coasts, where Canada meets the sea. And here, the country shows two totally different sides of its personality. You've got the charming, almost storybook shores of the Atlantic, and then the wild, rugged power of the Pacific. Prince Edward Island, or PEI as pretty much everyone calls it, is like something straight out of a storybook, which I guess makes sense since it's the home of Anne of Green Gables. It's Canada's smallest province, and it's just famous for these rolling green farmlands, dramatic red cliffs, and a much slower, more peaceful pace of life. And then, on the complete opposite side of the country, you find a place like Tofino. This is not the gentle charm of the East Coast. This is raw, untamed nature. It's a magnet for storm watchers and surfers, a place where these ancient, mossy rainforests crash right into the powerful waves of the Pacific Ocean. Back on the East Coast, the port cities are just bursting with character. You've got Halifax and Nova Scotia, which is defined by its deep maritime history, and that massive, star-shaped citadel that overlooks the harbor. And then there's St. John's, Newfoundland, one of North America's oldest cities, famous for its super steep streets and those incredibly bright, colorful houses that everyone calls Jelly Bean Row. So as we've seen, you really can't pin Canada down to just one thing. It's a nation that's defined by its powerful contrasts, and it offers just endless possibilities for whatever kind of adventure you're looking for. So when you boil it all down, a Canadian adventure really falls into one of three realms. Are you drawn to the deep silence of its majestic wilderness, the vibrant electric pulse of its multicultural cities, or the unique character of its coastal charms? Oh, and by the way, if you guessed the beaver as the national animal way back at the beginning, you were right. It's a symbol of the country's hardworking spirit. In the end, Canada isn't just one destination. It's 1,000 different journeys just waiting to happen. So, from towering mountain peaks to charming historic streets, the only real question left is, which one of its wonders will you discover first? Thanks for tuning in.